What's going on in this clip?
Common in India for older children to live with their parents?
It's fine to live with your parents because it's also common in India that we don't have to take appointments with our parents to meet for dinner. So.
That's actually one of the 3 habits we'll cover in today's video. First, when you meet somebody new, they will often ask you this question.
Why don't you help us out here? Where are you from?
And watch her reply.
I'm from India.
From India?
I live in Mumbai. And
Mumbai now.
Before she got cut off, she was likely going to give a longer answer. And when you answer where are you from with one word, that makes it hard for the other person to connect with you because they don't really have anything to go off of. And people don't literally care where you're from. They ask this early in a conversation so that you can give them something to connect with them. So the next time you meet somebody new and they ask you where you're from, talk a little bit about what you like or don't like about where you're from. This will make your conversations engaging right from the start. Here's what that looks like in practice.
I just do what I love, man. I learned that a long time ago because, coming up in Flint, Michigan, you were you either worked at the factory or you didn't. And so I was like, man, I can't do this I can't be stuck over there. So I just said, I have to do as many things as I can possibly do. Whatever I love, I decided I was gonna do.
Early in conversations, it's generally a good idea to talk a little bit more than usual because people will likely ask you questions that have one-word answers.
Bombay came with the British colonization, as it was? Yeah. And your family still lives there?
yes, yes.
And you work in films in India? And how many films have you been in?
So how can you do all of this without being like that annoying person we all know who will not stop talking about themselves? It's simple. Invite questions at the end of your sentences.
Because I first went into modeling, which happened by accident.
Well, how did that begin? And what age did that happen?
When she says that, it instantly makes you think, well, how did it happen by accident? When you do this, you give people a chance to ask you a question, which means at that point, they're choosing to listen to you. Here's another example from Hrithik Roshan as he's talking about education and how it relates to his movie Super 30.
That's very, very important. But that's not why I did the film.
You instantly think, well, why did he do the film? The next habit we see from Aishwarya is friendly teasing. And this brings us back to the clip we saw in the intro.
It's also common in India that we don't have to take appointments with our parents to meet for dinner. So.
But I don't recommend giving replies that tease the other person like this. In these situations, it is better to assume that the other person has a positive intention so that you can answer the question literally and take it at face value. But friendly teasing can be a great way to have fun early in conversation. So how can you do this without offending the other person? There are 2 things to keep in mind here. It has to be obvious to the other person that you're joking, and it has to be clear to them that it's all in good fun.
Once in a career, if you're lucky enough, you get a chance to make a movie for Disney that is based off an iconic Disney ride. And on top of that, co-star with someone who I've loved and admired over the years, Gal Gadot.
No, I knew it.
Oh, you knew it,
For a
right?
second, I was like...
No, Emily Blunt.
The final habit we'll touch on in today's video is something we see Aishwarya do all the time in this interview.
Or?
Well,
So.
no.
Obviously, we see her smiling and laughing, but that's actually not what's important here. If you don't feel like smiling or laughing like that, does that mean you should still do it? I would firmly recommend that you stop smiling in those situations because we can all detect when somebody is being fake and inauthentic. The way to genuinely be happy is to give yourself a reason to smile. That is how you be more outgoing and positive in a conversation. The most likable people typically are also the most positive. They focus on what's good in an interaction or in a situation instead of what's bad. If you've ever been around someone who focuses on what's wrong, you know how draining that can be. At least for me, there's one simple way to feel more positive and optimistic, and that is to quit watching the news. Most news these days exists to make you feel stressed and anxious about the world so they can keep your attention to sell you ads. I hope you found these habits useful. Subscribe to this channel if you'd like to see more. Thank you for watching.